Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're trying to make sense of buying internationally, specifically from Chinese marketplaces. It can get tricky. We're focusing on a service called JoyaGoo. That's joyagoo.com. They claim to make it easy, especially for things like, streetwear, sneakers, fashion stuff that sellers often won't ship overseas. Our sources paint a really, a very mixed picture. Lots of happy users on one side, but also some pretty serious technical warnings on the other.
Right. So our mission here is to figure out where JoyaGoo actually lands on that trust scale. Because it's clearly not a simple, yes, it's safe, or no, it's a scam.
Yeah.
We need to see if it's a genuinely useful shortcut for you, the buyer, or if it's more of a high-risk gamble. And importantly, what specific risks you need to be aware of before you even think about clicking buy.
Okay, so let's unpack how it's supposed to work. JoyaGoo basically acts as your agent, right?
Yeah.
A middleman. They buy from Chinese sellers who won't ship to, say, the US or Europe, and then they handle the international leg.
Exactly. And the process they advertise, it's designed to build your confidence. You give them the product link, they place the order with the seller. Then, and this is key, they say they'll take a photo of the item when it arrives at their warehouse. That's the QC, the quality control photo.
Oh, the QC step. So you see it before it ships out internationally.
That's the promise. You approve the photo, then they handle packing it up, shipping it to you, and dealing with customs. On paper, it sounds pretty reassuring.
And looking at feedback like on Trustpilot, a lot of people seem to agree. Many reviews say checkout was easy, support answered questions, and the package arrived fine.
Yeah, there's definite evidence of successful transactions. The positive feedback often highlights that smooth experience. But what's really interesting is how crucial that QC photo is. Customers specifically mention it as the reason they felt confident. It makes them feel like they have control, they've okayed the exact item.
Right. It gives you a sense of security in what can otherwise feel like a bit of a black box, buying from so far away.
Okay, but this is where it gets complicated. Because while you have all these seemingly happy customers, you also have external tools. Scam Advisor and Scam Doc, flagging JoyaGoo with really low trust scores, like seriously low. That's a huge disconnect.
It is. And we need to understand why those scores are so low, even with positive user reviews coming in. These tools, Scam Advisor, Scam Doc, they're automated. They look at technical signals. Key things here are the domain's age is Hendern. JoyaGoo's website is only about, 8 months old?
8 months, that's really new for an e-commerce platform.
Very new. And the other factor is that the owner's identity is hidden, who is privacy, basically. Now, that doesn't automatically mean it's a scam.
But it doesn't exactly screen transparency either.
Precisely. It signals a lack of track record, a lack of openness, which these automated systems weigh heavily as risk factors.
But hang on, if people are getting their sneakers or whatever they ordered, doesn't that real-world success matter more than a domain being new? It matters, but it doesn't negate the type of risk involved. The major complaints aren't necessarily, I paid and got nothing. It's often more nuanced. We see mixed reviews mentioning issues like custom seizures, especially with designer goods or replica items, things that are already in a gray area legally.
So the risk isn't just non-delivery. It could be your expensive item getting stuck or confiscated.
Exactly. And remember that QC photo, the big trust builder.
Yeah.
Some users report the item they received didn't actually match the QC photo they approved.
Oh, wow. So like a bait and switch after the approval?
Potentially, yes. That suggests a breakdown somewhere between the QC check and the final international shipment. It severely undermines that core promise of transparency. So the bottom line for you, the buyer, is this. JoyaGoo seems to be operational. People are getting packages. It's not an outright phantom site taking money and disappearing, but it operates in a high-risk space. Its success seems heavily tied to the items being bought, sometimes problematic items, and the reliability or lack thereof of the original Chinese sellers. JoyaGoo is facilitating this, and that's where you take on the risk. It's what we call a high-risk shopping agent.
Okay, so practical advice time. If someone's thinking about using JoyaGoo, what's the takeaway? Sounds like extreme caution is needed. Maybe try it for something cheap, something generic, where you wouldn't be heartbroken if it went wrong.
That's sensible advice. Definitely consider using a payment method with strong buyer protection, like a credit card or maybe PayPal if possible. Gives you some recourse. But for expensive items or anything branded, designer, that high-risk label should probably make you pause and think twice. The potential headaches might just not be worth it.
Right. So recapping the core tension here, we have a service that offers something genuinely useful. Those QC photos are a good idea in theory, but it's operating with significant risks tied to its newness, its lack of transparency, and the tricky nature of the goods it often handles.
Hmm. And building on that newness factor, that domain age, here's something for you to maybe chew on. When you're deciding whether to trust an online service, especially for something valuable, how do you weigh things? How much importance do you give to structural factors like a hidden owner and a young domain versus, say, a large number of recent positive but maybe short-term user reviews? Where do you draw the line on trust online?
That's a great question to ponder. We'll leave you with that thought. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.